on. So it will be exciting to see if he gets that Jinx, if he gets that Sivir and is allowed to skirt around the edges, or if Vici will try to go for the, we're just going to run around the map and keep on cutting turret after turret and objective after objective. But we have now entered the pick and ban phase. This is game number 1 between Snake and Vici, and as you said exactly, there is the Fizz ban.
Yeah, they've taken that Fizz off the board. 3 of the last 4 games from Flandre as well were on that champion, I believe. So a very strong pick that is removed from the map as soon as possible. And it takes away a potential flex as well, keeping in mind 513. Fizz mid, not too bad.
Yeah, it's very strong. Meanwhile, you've got the Thresh taken away from Mata, Ryze pulled away from Dandy, and interestingly enough, Pung's Azir being stricken off of the map. And Martin's Kalista. Again, this is 513. She did take a minor hit, but is still exceptionally strong. The LPL teams love playing with her. So we'll see what Vici decide to go for, because right now Echo is still open. They ban away the Hecarim. So there's Victor, there's Echo. There are a lot of strong meta picks. And yeah, they decide to opt into the Victor.
Yeah, so they go for the Victor. And my first question was going to be why they actually banned away the Azir, when it's something that when you gets, generally they win the game off the back of him with an exceptional carry performance. Instead, they prioritize the Victor, and you can see the fact that they banned the Azir says to me they're getting rid of a lot of Peng's champions so that they can play that Victor safely. The question mark now does get raised though, because Victor has been picked. We saw it all of yesterday. Kassadin is the response into Victor.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Peng can pull that out. Right now it looks like Vici going for a little bit more standard, safer style. World 6 plays a mean Rek'Sai. His Gragas is still available. When he first debuted with Vici, it was on that Gragas, and he ended up carrying to an exceptional degree, and that typically has been his go-to. So it's curious to see him lock in the Rek'Sai, but he decides to commit to it.
Yeah, locking away that Rek'Sai, another very good early pressure style of jungler. ZZR has been experimenting with the Nidalees and the Echoes, so Rek'Sai very good at matching that, also denies, generally speaking, the chance of seeing an Evelynn. So don't be surprised if the Echo is the lock-in, but Dandy actually picking up Braum for their support on that side is interesting given that Victor has already been picked, but Braum is so good with that Unbreakable against a lot of line-based skill shots.
We'll definitely keep an eye on that bottom lane. On the other side, Snake decide to switch things up. They commit to the Echo, likely for ZZR, and it's going to be Flandre on the top in Shen, taking that away from Dandy, and it looks like Vici might be saving that last pick for Dandy. That's a bit of a unique choice.
Yeah, it is, but I like it because they've already focused a lot of bans into the top lane. He does want to play maybe the Rumble and force Snake to reveal their hand so that he can be comfortably picking a carry top laner. You look at the side of Snake though with their current 3 champions, and it's very difficult to actually kill any of them because first and foremost they've got a Shen, secondly they've got an Echo, and then they've got a Shen for a Victor.
Yeah, so very strong team composition. And we haven't even seen the AD carry picked up for Snake yet, so looks to be a little bit dangerous. Vici, they put Lulu into that mid lane. Looks like it's going to be a Gragas locked in. Think we might see Dandy take Rek'Sai in the top lane?
We may see Mata play the Gragas support also. So there's the possibility of many different flexible decisions that they actually want to make. Rek'Sai top. They've already got the Braum actually, so it does definitely look like it's going to be a Rek'Sai top. Hey, they may put a Gragas top for all we know. Let's wait and see how it unfolds.
Yeah, Vici coming out with the major flex in this game number 1 against Snake. And usually we were talking about how it's Snake who should be putting Vici on the back foot with bringing in 2 new subs, bringing in a wild and wacky team composition. But it's Vici who match it blow for blow with this flexible composition. Martin locking in Vayne.
No hesitation there.
Yeah, he's committed to it. He's played it pretty well in the past, and I'm excited to see him take it again.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. They're missing a big hyper carry option here on the side of Vici, so Snake picking that one up themselves gives about a 3-threat comp essentially. They've got the Janna and the Shen to ensure that they are going to be safe in that regards. Vayne's actually a very good pick in that team comp, but they have blind picked it into the AD carry of Vici, so does raise some questions as to what they want to pick here for Schwan.
Yeah, we'll see what he decides to commit to. He's got a solid 50 seconds now that we've gotten to that side, and we've now got the completed lineup for Snake, and this is about as meta as you can get, especially in the LPL. These guys love their Victor. Echo's been making tons of headway through the jungle, and we've seen a lot of Shen in the top lane, but it is a bit interesting to see that it's Flandre not on a kill style top laner.
Yeah, Flandre going to that Shen, looking to impact the rest of the map, but there's something he'll still do, and that'll be controlling top lane. Get the Barmy Cinder and just work around the minion waves so that he can be elsewhere and still have that massive impact. The Snake lineup is a holistic team comp though, what they are trying to do. They've got a lot of single target damage with a small amount of AoE, so they're looking mostly at a pick comp, maybe around the Shen connecting with a taunt or a parallel convergence, and then following it up with the rest of their CC to get someone down. But you have a look at Vici's lineup, and it is really difficult to do that against them just because of how many support-based tanks they have.
There is a lot of peel and disengage on Vici's side. Last pickup is Sivir for Schwan, and that's a very strong bottom lane to deal with. You've got the Sivir Braum. And now that we can see these two team comps, now that we can see how everything's working out, do you think Vici might opt into the lane swap, or will they commit to the 2v2?
I don't think they'll want the lane swap because they have the Rex. So then again, they actually might just exclusively want the lane swap because they've got a jungle top laner. It does unlock their possibilities of just double jungling everywhere around the map, maybe invading. Gives them a lot of potential around the rotations and then swapping back. Dandy's going to have a lot more money in this game to be able to carry his team through, but I guess it's interesting that they've actually immediately shown their hand as to what they wanted to play here. They went for the Rek'Sai with the Gragas. They didn't pick them together to deny either from their opposition either. They've just straight picked it.
Yeah, so Vici showing their hand rather early. We'll have to see if they can play it out as we're running through the lineups right now. It's ZZR versus World 6. Up next, it's you versus Pong. Looks to be a very fun game. I'm actually pretty excited for this. This is turning out into a wacky lineup.
This is definitely wacky as we look at Martin and Sivir here on Juan. A very non-interactive bot lane from Vici, but Snake, they're looking to put some damage down onto their opponents.
Yeah, we'll have to see if it works out as we prepare to get into this one. Again, it is Snake versus Vici Gaming. Game number 1 is coming at you in just a few minutes. As we're loading onto the Rift right now, you can see the two teams prepared and ready to get into this one. Vici needs these points. They need these wins to get higher into the standings. But Snake, the more points they get, the better for them, the more of a buffer, really.
Exactly. Snake looking to buffer their position on it. They're currently 4th on 23 points. Only 3 behind is Vici on 20, so both teams desperately need this win.
Very important game for them. Well, we'll find out who's going to end up earning these points as we get into game for game number 1. And we have loaded onto the Rift. It's week number 9, day number 2. Snake versus Vici, and Rek'Sai's already on the hunt, looking like he might find Flandre as 5 members of Vici chase Flandre away. I don't think Dandy's going to catch up to him. And
almost got the ward.
Yeah, looking awful close there, but Flandre, he's just going to scout it around. He's got that overshield to keep an eye on where the wards from Vici are going to end up going down. And this has actually been interesting to see from Vici, that they're going this aggressive early on to keep an eye on the vision of Snake. Is it that important?
It's that important. Something that we mentioned during the Champion Select is how Vici are probably going to be looking for that lane swap. If they want to enforce the lane swap or get vision of where Snake are going to be, then they invade as a group. They place down that deep vision to ensure that they can get what they're looking for. In this case, it is going to be the enemy blue buff right now, but they're still waiting until the ward actually ends before they enter the blue buff area. So very smart play here from the side of Vici, if they time it right.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they can. There's still about 10 seconds before World 6 is going to be able to pull the trigger. And this blue buff is so important to Echo. He needs that mana, so deciding to commit to the trade on the other side. Intelligent play from Snake to recognize the fact that this is a possibility and still continuing to play with it. That's going to be ZZR getting some help from Flandre on this side, and it looks like Vici do commit to the lane swap.
Yeah, Shen actually very good at walking around with his jungle partner because he has got the Vorpal Blades, which heals both of you, so you can juggle tank quite nicely and stay reasonably high in terms of your health, but not necessarily comparable to that of a Rek'Sai and a Gragas, to say the least.
Yeah, and looks like we do have a pause coming out very early in. we'll hopefully get that figured out right quick. And now that we've seen the setup, now that we've got an idea of where these lanes are going, what can we expect out of this early game?
So most of this early game is going to revolve around a lot of early pressure being placed down by the Rek'Sai and the Gragas. They want to control the jungle, translate that control into some ganks, because between those two champions, they're very good at getting the ganks down. But in saying that, it's going to be on Snake to try and control the early game, try and force Vici to be back into the laning phase and not let them double jungle for as long as possible, so that they can actually control what they're doing around the map.
We'll have to see if that works out for Snake, if they're able to keep an eye on Vici, because that's something that we almost always commend Vici on. The fact that they have exceptional vision and very solid jungle control, and that's with World 6 and Dandy. I mean, these guys have... It almost seems like they've got map hacks on a majority of the time.
They basically have two junglers right now as well. So something that they want to do as a team, no doubt, helps their synergy and confuses the opposition in this case, is just having both of them jungle together and just completely disorient their opposition.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that works out as Vici clearing away the Raptor camp, Direwolf camp, and looks like a false alarm on that pause. Somebody just wanted to test something out and said, no, I think I like my graphic settings the other way around. Yeah. Shadows off.
I don't like shadows either, to be honest with you.
Yeah? I've got them on the lowest setting. I find that I need them to find positioning, like where the champion is on the map, spatially, but
oh my God,
high graphics are a little tough.
That zoom in is real.
That's an excellent camera lens.
Yeah. No, we're still waiting to actually see what happens in this game, how it continues to unfold. We're stuck at a very early period in the game where both respective teams have invaded their opposition's blue buff and are now translating that into the rest of the blue buff area. The Gromps, the Wolves, all starting to go down. The big question mark will get raised as to where they want to go after that, whether they put a lot of effort back into ensuring Dandy can go get that solo experience. But he's a Rek'Sai, so might be looking to prolong that, whereas Flandre on the Shen wants to be in lane as soon as possible. They might try and put some early rotations into effect here. A lot of AD carries and supports. In this case, the Martin and Ella duo can actually just get, say, level 3, get some pots, a small advantage, and try and out-sustain their lane opponents by switching back to the lane where the AD is.
We'll see how that works out, if Martin and Ella do decide to stay on that bottom side, or if they chase Vici around, because I imagine if they were to end up chasing Vici around the map, that would fall exactly into Vici's hands. Oh, look at that great gift. That's that's Martin and Crystal.
Crystal. Yeah.
Oh man, poor guy. I'm sure we'll see him.
So we can tell that they're nice friends if it's Martin and Crystal, so
yeah,
no love lost between those two.
But yeah, we're getting back onto the Rift in just a moment, and I want to expand on that a little bit more, because as I understand it, Sivir probably a little better at taking early turrets than Vayne.
Definitely better at taking the turrets, and something that is often seen is the Sivir against the Vayne in the matchup, just because once items start to come out from the Vayne, she can capably 1v1 people. So Sivir looking to try and find a small advantage in terms of objective control, global gold, so that it's not just on her back in the mid game.
We'll see if that is going to be successful for Vici. And the double jungle continues unabatedly, both sides clearing away the blue side of the map, whereas it looks like Vici a little bit more focused on getting the red buff into the hands of... Wait, was that... Oh yeah, World 6.
World
okay, 6. Yeah. Whenever I see the Gragas Rek'Sai, I just assume
you never know.
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
It is going to smite it.
Yeah, it is double jungle being perused by both of them. Interestingly enough, Mata is going to clear away the Scuttle Crab, while the rest of Snake be just a step behind in that jungle clear, because they aren't committing to the Scuttle Crab quite yet. And it looks like they're actually going to clear just a little bit faster as they send 4 members to the top side of the map with that double jungle. They could be looking for that early turret rush. Yeah,
basically identical in terms of their jungling and their map movements right now. So being completely mirrored but unaware to what the opposition are doing and how they've actually mirrored it. They're probably going to see not necessarily a 4v0 Martin on that Vayne, looking to actually get solo experience, solo farm, whereas the Sivir and the Braum looking to get down that turret most likely as soon as possible. And that is why both members of Vici are doing the Gromp, so that they are very close and can easily rotate if someone's nearby. Because if anyone turned up to this turret,
yeah,
they're going to have a rough day.
Almost certainly. 4 members of Snake now show themselves on the bottom side of the map. Looks like Snake are the ones who pulled the trigger to take that first early tier 1. I don't think they're going to be able to get it this wave, but with 4 members, they're just barely matching the pace of Schwan and Mata. So looks like things going pretty healthily in Vici's favor this early on, just considering how quickly that double jungle is being used by the Gragas-Rek'Sai combo. And again, the pressure continues in the mid lane between you and Peng. You can just see them trading back and forth.
Yeah, these two in the mid lane are just being super aggressive onto each other, but the big difference and the key factor as to why Peng on Lulu in particular is being so aggressive against the Victor has already backed, got a second Doran's ring, got some extra red pots, and is looking to try and out-sustain his lane opponent. And so far, it's working quite well.
Yeah, ooh, we can see Mata actually taking a few turret hits there for Chuan on the other side of the map. And with those turret hits taken, that's going to be the first turret of the game going down to Vici. Immediate recall from Chuan and Mata. Might we see them swap back down?
It is honestly the greatest recall animation on Braum. That skin is so good, but you can see all of the gold actually going to Martin there. They exclusively left the Vayne alone in that lane. Ella just sitting in the bush recalled to ensure that it actually happened as planned. So they've got a lot more money directly onto the Vayne, enough to get a Cutlass. And now we're looking at a pickaxe and boots against that Cutlass. If they go back to reset lanes, it'd still be quite awkward for the Sivir to get through, but a non-interactive lane, the fact that they've got Braum on Marta as well, actually forces the Vayne to hit the Braum, so that it's always going to be a losing lane directly through laning phase. So Vayne back into the top lane, and now Sivir and Braum bottom. A fairly non-interactive start to the game.
Well, and on the upside, at least Dandy's getting a chance to head back to the top side and get some farm for himself as he sets up that neural network of tunnels. And things are going to be relatively slow. World 6 on the invade might be caught out here. Is he going to be stunned? ZZR, ooh, doesn't quite find it in time. Smite goes out as they're trading toe-and-toe, but here come the rest of Vici. ZZR has got to get out of here. Here's a teleport from Dandy. There's nothing. No, the Condemn knocks him out. Martin saves the potential dive. A taunt finds Mata. He goes low. The turret hit is able to keep himself alive from the heal. ZZR continues to chase forward. Parallel convergence isn't going to pop in time. He turns it around for the stun. It's first blood onto Flandre. Chuan chases ZZR into the turret. He goes low. Revenge picked up, and the 2-man taunt under a turret. A double kill onto Flandre. He's chasing Chuan away, and Ella is going to successfully zone him out of there. Yu has got the Chaos Storm. He drops it down, and Chuan goes low. This is Peng chasing forward, but he's got no help. He's got no allies. He's got no mana. He's got no chance. He goes low, and he goes down to Flandre. 3-0-1 start to this game.
One of the dangers of diving Shen, and one of the many reasons that you should not be doing so, is that he has a taunt, a very infinitely tanky champion. But first and foremost, the MVP of that entire situation, you have to look at Martin, condemning away the teleport, denying a successful dive. They get 4 kills total right now to the 1 of VT Gaming on the back of not having Dandy there to output that damage. So super well played though from this side of Snake. Lulu actually trying to flash and use the ultimate onto Shuama, could not connect it because he had died too quickly. The flash engage from you coming down, that was really loud. We're going to see what?
This is current.
Okay.
We just saw a replay into the future.
Wow. Transitions.
That was awesome. I've never seen a replay into the future. But wait, if that was then when is now?
I am lost.
We're combing the desert. There's a reference.
I'm so confused.
Okay, let's talk about this game instead.
Wow, okay. The bot lane of Vici have actually come back to the bot lane again. They're looking to try and get this turret down. The objective focus is still going to be the same from both teams. The big difference in the buffer now is that there is 4 kills onto the side of Snake. This mid lane is going to be a lot better for the Victor. Scales with items quite nicely. The wave clear can't even be matched by a Lulu at the moment, so a very difficult position for Vici to be in immediately. But if they get the 2v2, it's not too bad.
Well, it looks like we have now swapped back into the 2v2 immediately. Martin turns the heat up onto the Vici duo, and they cannot afford to trade with it. However, this buys some time for Dandy to shove on the other side of the map. Interesting to see Flandre give this much respect to Dandy and allow him to shove it back. Oh, is he setting up a freeze? Is that what he's doing?
Sort of. He
Kind of.
just can't directly trade with Dandy, irrespective of even having the 3 kills. The fact that the items between them effectively are non-existent just because the wave clear, the sustain that comes out of Rek'Sai is actually superior to that of the Shen this early in the game, just because of the passive and that the fact that the higher that bar is, the more health you get back. It's nearly impossible for Flyndre to do anything.
Yeah, see Dandy getting some free shove onto this top side of the map, especially seeing ZZR on the other side. Interestingly enough, Dandy, despite being condemned out of his teleport, decided to use that time and actually get a lot of CS. He's nearly 20 creeps ahead of Flyndre and even stealing away the jungle from ZZR and Flyndre. He's going to continue to ensure that he's got some solid gold coming in.
Yeah, one of the coolest things about this Rek'Sai top into the Shen is the fact that you can be everywhere and you can match exactly what the Shen is doing. He can use that ultimate and then teleport back somewhere. Dandy on that Rek'Sai can do the exact same thing. He has tunnels set up though. That's the big question mark that will be raised.
We'll keep an eye on Dandy. Right now it looks like his neural network is limited to his own lane on that side of the map. Martin and Ella are going to find their way back down to the bottom while Yu and Pung continue to trade it out and the junglers just farm things out. So after that first dragon was secured and it was even in turrets, looks like things finally might be settling down just a bit as we settle in for a nice long farm fest for the early game.
Yeah, we're coming back to standard, but in saying that, you look at Snake and then they look to the mid-game because they have a 3-0-1 Shen who is going to be near impossible to kill, especially because you're looking at a Sivir on the side of Vici, a low-impact AD carry. Lulu is the mid laner. Again, low impact in terms of direct damage output if we're comparing that to the Victor and the Vayne that they've got on the side of Snake. So once they hit that mid-game stage, once Shen finishes, say, 1.5 or even 2 items, he's going to become nearly unkillable a lot sooner than that of Dandy. And that is one of the big winning points for this Snake team. They look to that as their core strength right now.
We'll see if they transition into that successfully, because the team they're playing against is Vici. Death by 1,000 paper cuts. Vici is the team that will run you around the map and avoid fights for 50 minutes before finally getting to your Nexus. And so far, it looks like they're doing a pretty good job of keeping Snake on the ropes. Dandy jungling as best he can, will get out through a tunnel. And I'm a little intrigued to see that Snake are allowing this to happen, as there we go, finally turning up some pressure onto Vici. As ZZR tumbles away from Mata, but is he going to find him with the... no, he's actually not.
So I guess the most curious thing about this game and why they're kind of allowing Vici to play their game at this stage is because their direct catch and their pick potential is not too high. It's combo CC, and they're also very reliant on the Shen actually being there to ensure they get the CC. So one of the biggest question marks that is going to be raised as we move further into this game is if the Shen tries to split push, how can they engage a fight without an instant engage from an Echo W, which is avoidable, or a Victor stun perhaps?
I have absolutely no idea. So then how do Snake look for these fights if they don't have any direct pick potential, if they cannot engage someone without Flyndre already being there for a flash taunt?
So they look to basically outplay Vici in terms of their death by 1,000 cuts. They can do the same thing themselves because the Shen is so big. They can try and work around him in a split push lane, having to draw more than one person for attention. And then their direct engage is slightly better because the disengage will be, oh my god.
Wow, Yu does so much. Pung actually makes it out barely. Ella's going to provide a bit of chase just to zone away. And wow, looks like he wasn't expecting that.
No, that was a lot of damage right there from the Victor. He has upgraded his Hex Core twice now, so has the Q move speed, has got that E upgraded to do twice the amount of damage essentially, having the second proc there. So a lot of damage. Lulu not necessarily known for her high health amounts. It does come down a lot to the shield. That does give you the effective health bonus. Caught him off guard once, almost paid with his life.
Yeah, it was awful close there, but barely able to make it out. Didn't have to panic either and press that wild growth. The very, very important spell for getting some sort of counterplay involved. But again, this is a fairly patient game. We're about 12, 13 minutes in between Snake and Vici, and after that early team fight that we saw on the bottom side in which Flyndre came up huge with that 3-0-1, things have settled down, things have slowed by quite a bit. And Snake even have got that first dragon under their belt. So they're probably feeling pretty happy about this one.
Yeah, Vici tried to make something happen once in this
Yeah.
game, essentially. They made a mistake in doing so, the teleport getting cancelled by the Vayne. And all in all, it actually found a big lead for Snake to the point where Vici have gone back to their original game plan. They found a window to try and engage, to try and get themselves an advantage, get the turret, and start a snowball. But it didn't pan out as intended, so now they're back to looking for another opportunity. But at this stage, they are still searching.
Haven't found anything quite yet, but Vici are on the hunt. Recall out of Dandy on the top lane, combined with the recall from Peng and Mata, means that the blue buff is stolen away for you, so he has got that secured for himself. And that means that he's going to have some pretty terrifying sustain. Peng, actually, with the completed recall, has now finished off his Morellonomicon as well, so let's see if Peng will be able to trade back a little bit more effectively as he tries to keep up with this ridiculous Victor wave burst.
They're still going to be able to do damage at Lulu, but the direct trading between them is always going to favor you in a full-on overcommitment in the engage. So Lulu just going to do exactly what Vici like to do and slowly whittle away their opponent, poke them out of the lane, and maybe translate that into a push somewhere else. But in the meantime, you have to do your best attempt to not die.
Yeah, this is a really interesting play from Snake. They actually send Martin with his completed Blade of the Ruined King to the top lane. Looks like they decide to trade turrets one for one. Yeah, there's a collapse coming out for Dandy. He makes it over the wall, however. Still going to get out with his life, though Vici looking to make the best of this situation with a big wave bottom and Chuan and Mata shoving forward. They look to take that bottom tier 2, get some free damage onto it, but Martin looks to answer on the opposite side of the map. It's going to be down to, can Snake keep this tier 2 alive?
They're just pestering around the area to try and ensure that the tower or the minions go to the tower and it cannot be frozen again by Flandre. But he has that Barney Cinder, so it's not going to happen for them in this case. They don't get the turret. They do put some nice pressure down onto it, but the trade was already there. They got the bottom turret. They do lose the top one for their troubles. The Vayne has been spending a lot of time essentially in a solo lane, whilst Ella is rotating around the map trying to just secure vision control. At this stage, I feel like the early game is favoring Snake, but as mentioned earlier, if they can't translate that into something, Vici will eventually take the game out of their hands.
Yeah, so far things are playing rather slowly. Dragon spawning in 20 seconds. Control currently rests in Vici as they've got a few deep wards after that successful push on the bottom side of the map, though there are a few responsive wards from Snake. You getting awful aggressive here. Mata decides not to commit to it and lets him back away while the rest of Snake are on the bottom side. Flandre's split push has been engaged. He's got Stand United and Teleport. Looks like Dandy is just going to head down through the mid lane, not even going to try matching the split push of Flandre. Might we see a fight over this next dragon?
At the very least, is going to be setting up tunnels around that dragon area if they disengage from the fight. But you can see, because Dandy is here, Vici might be the ones looking to put this into effect. He's on a ward, so they know he is here. They've already pinged him out. It's up to Dandy and for the rest of Vici as to what they want to do for the next 30 seconds. They could look to push down the mid turret, perhaps, the only outer remaining for both teams.
Yeah, it looks like the dragon has been started by ZZR. Oh, no, he was just clearing out some wards in the pit before hopping over the wall. Currently, it looks like Snake are a little bit split, not to mention their tank is splitting on the other side of the map, so Martin quickly rushing to join up with the rest of his team. Vici have got complete vision control. There goes the Void Rush from Dandy to the far side of the map. Flandre successfully pulls him away.
So Snake are doing exactly what they should be at this stage. Now that the Rek'Sai has no ultimate, he only has the teleport available immediately. You can see the dragon started, not just started.
Yeah, secure successfully. That's Snake now with 2 dragons, 2 turrets, and 3 kills over Vici Gaming with 1 kill of their own. And that was Chuan letting that dragon go as he decided to catch the large wave on the bottom side. And you know, I can't believe it. Snake didn't take a team fight. They successfully outmaneuvered Vici Gaming.
They're looking like an LGD 2.0 at the moment. They've got the side wave minion control. They've got the vision control around the objective before they actually commit to doing something. They not only didn't commit to a team fight, they forced Vici away from the objective before taking it for free themselves. It looks like a weird condition here, but they're doing it. They're making it work. Now 2-0 in the Dragons.
This is an excellent evolution out of Snake. We'll have to see if they can continue keeping up with this, as they're content to take it nice and slow throughout this now mid-game. We're 2 minutes away from 20 minutes in. Baron will be up, but I don't think anybody should be looking for that, as we do have a lane swap now initiated by Vici, Chuan, and Mata heading over to the mid lane, as it looks like he's going to be there to keep the waves farmed up nice and clean, and Martin is going to continue catching free farm all around the map. Now the blue buff has just respawned for both of the mid laners, and they're both looking to be contested and stolen on the far side of the map. There's also some action going down while World 6 gets some free time. We'll have to see if they can successfully steal it away, because it would be 4 versus 3 for that blue, but it looks like World 6 is going to steal it. Yeah, he doesn't even have time to give it over to Pong.
Yeah, so the pressure that Civ is putting down in this mid lane right now is forcing the Victor to stay around, forcing the rotations from Snake, because the turret will start to fall. And if that mid turret goes down, a lot of pressure is unlocked for Vici.
Snake look like they might want to fight. Ella dashes forward, slow finds World 6. Flandre even coming in. This would be a great 5-man flank. Martin turns onto World 6, gets knocked into the wall. Here's Schwan without vision. There's a flash over the wall, and World 6 makes it out of there. But Schwan trying to run for his life. Is he going to be able to? The flash taunt finds him. Another kill for Snake.
So another well-played engage from Snake. They could see how telegraphed it was in terms of where they're going to walk. Look at the wards on the map right now that Snake have got. They were planning that fight for quite some time. Yeah. Deep vision, appropriate neutral vision. They catch someone in a position where he shouldn't be, and then they can just easily follow him to the depths of the jungle.
Excellent play from Snake. That is going to yield them a kill, and they managed to take down the mid-tier 1 and steal the blue away from Vici. Snake just removed all of the wind from Vici Gaming's sails and added a nice gust to their own.
Exactly. They're starting to bleed out, as we said, the team that are known for their just tirades of bleeding out other teams. It's starting to look super impressive. It's a Snake side that we don't often see, but they're making this work so well that a team that are known for doing it don't have an answer just yet.
CZR looking to clean up a ward. Mata takes some poke from you as he's doing some serious damage in the mid lane, but no crazy action to come of it outside of that. And this is really exciting for Snake as World 6, flirting with danger, hops the wall. That Snake are able to play like this remarkably well over the course of this match bodes very well for them. Earlier in the split, we saw them experimenting with wacky poke comps, wacky split push comps, and really the only thing that ever seemed to succeed was the 5-man engage, the 5-man team fights. And this time, it seems like they've finally gotten smart about how they can play with those 5-man fights.
Yeah, and something that I guess is really important to note is how this has revolved around the drafting phase as well. Is that they haven't built that full engaged 5v5 team fight. They're working a lot more around those picks that we mentioned earlier, whereas Vici Gaming have picked something that doesn't really make sense. They've gone for the Rek'Sai with the Gragas. They're looking to control sideways, and I can understand. He's ulted at Rek'Sai. He is low.
He almost solo killed Dandy on the top side, and I guess that's the power spike that you were talking about. Dandy, rocking a lot of pure health right now, is not able to soak any hits from Martin, who's got his completed play to the Rune King Azir.
And then you look at the flip side here, the 4-0-1 Shen has completed his Sunfire, has got his Spectre's Cowl, and is now working towards a Randuin's Omen from the looks of it. Completely unkillable. There is no answer to Flandre right now in terms of relative strength on this map. He can easily continue to split push. He can group now. And what was difficult for Snake in terms of drafting to actually find some kind of reliable, solid engage for them, they don't necessarily need that anymore because Shen is just so big he can walk at them.
Well, I guess kind of prance forward. Shen doesn't really walk, per se.
He can dash at them.
Yeah, there you go. Shadow dash from Flandre. Yeah, Flandre's been playing out of his mind this game, currently 4-0-1, and to be fair, I was a little hesitant when I saw him on Shen. I was like, oh man, we're not going to see the Flandre show this time. We're not going to get to see him go for wicked outplays and kill people.
Show is the Flandre show.
Yeah, but
making that evident.
We tuned into the right channel this time. Flandre is playing out of his mind. And I guess that's the big indicator that I'm planning on keeping my eyes on is where is Flandre going to be? What sort of plays is he going to initiate for Snake?
So the important part is he's still going to have to deal with Dandy. The Rek'Sai is always going to be split pushing. So he does need to answer that, because Rek'Sai was picked basically as a response to the Shen, saying that, well, you're going to have to deal with the fact that I'm a Shen. Now you're going to have to deal with the fact that I'm a Rek'Sai instead, because I'm always going to be here, and my ultimate does the same thing as yours in terms of movement around the map. So Dandy, the pick makes sense. There's merit to it. But now that it's a 4-0-1 Shen in response, they're just going to be hitting each other with wet noodles, but one of them's going to have an impact in team fights.
Yeah, one's a wet noodle, the other's a baseball bat.
I guess one's like Braum's shield compared to...
Yeah, that's appropriate. Vici. Looks like they're actually going for a bit of a fast dragon here. They managed to gain control over the pit and try to burn through its health. Dandy got the Void Rush and teleport. Here comes Parallel Convergence. Shen dashes in. Stun finds Xuan. He doesn't have flash, going low, and he gets destroyed by the burst from Snake. A double kill for Martin as he gets in there. World 6 on the back of the pit. Doesn't even get the steal. It's Dragon number 3 secured for Snake while they continue to provide chase. Great barrel. Saves Dandy's life, and he's actually able to stall this fight out successfully, but Martin is on the hunt. Dandy retreating to his neural network, trying to keep himself alive. Ella looks like he might catch up, though. He just needs one slow. Wait, what was he doing? He turns on the Ella.
Okay.
Might be able to get the kill, but ZZR catches up in time. He goes low. Who's going to end up getting the kill? Martin does so much damage. A 3-kill score on the Martin.
And we've spent a lot of time discussing how Snake's engage isn't necessarily there, but they just get stunned. The Sivir, the Lulu having to eject herself out of the start of that team fight to avoid the echo again. Well played from ZZR, well timed from ZZR. And again, something we've touched on is their vision control. It was appropriate vision in that area. They knew they could fight. They've got Flandre, who's massive. They've got a Vayne, who is 3-0-1 with 2 core items completed as well. They've got all of the makings for a strong team fight in direct 1v1 champion comparisons, but the fact that they got the engage completely removed any opportunity for Vici to win a team fight. They're now stuck sitting there and slowly losing their own game.
Yeah, it's amazing to see Snake performing this well. This is an absolute evolution for them to see them performing so well. And Talisman of Ascension actually burned. Yu has his own blue buff, and Martin manages to steal away the other from Snake, and slowly but surely they're losing objective after objective and fight after fight. Looks like Xuan and World 6 might have overstayed their welcome on this top side of the map.
They should easily get out. You can see their wards.
Oh, Martin turns on the Pong, and look at the damage. 4 hits to kill him. He turns on the Mata. Even with the unbreakable damage reduction, he goes low and he goes down. Martin 5-0-1. Flandre 4-0-4. This Snake team is unstoppable.
Every single individual member of this Snake team is just massive right now. They're all playing their part. They're all fitting in their pieces to the puzzle that is Snake right now. And it's starting to become very clear as to what they want to be. They want to work around their individual strengths. And it's almost like a solo queue style of team comp where every individual member just wants to carry the game in their own way. But that is what makes Snake. There's beauty behind that, in that anyone can actually carry on this team if they get ahead. In this particular game, though, they've all gotten ahead. So it's starting to look really easy for them to do exactly as we mentioned earlier, and that is bleed out a team that is renowned for bleeding out their opposition. Yeah,
amazing play out of Snake with this one. We can see why they are definitely making a strong contest to get higher up in those standings, to get out of 4th place and net themselves into 3rd. I don't think a 2-0 here would get them quite into range for 2nd place. I think Xiaogu is still 28 points?
29.
29 points, yeah. So it's 29 points for Xiaogu, 23 for Snake. But a 2-0 here would mean 26. That puts them safely into 3rd place. And really, if Snake can come into playoffs at 3rd place, that means they have to win 1 game in the gauntlet to advance to the Final 4 and make a competition. And then might we even see them at Worlds?
We may do, but from what we're seeing of this Snake so far, it's entirely likely that they will stay in this top 4 placing and continue through very strong. This game alone is an indication they've diversified their play styles more. They've got so many different options in their roster. ZZR starting to play more of a carry role, has brought about the Echo and making it work. They've got Martin now playing Vayne and killing everybody on the map. And then now they've got Flandre, who can still play tanks, still carry. This team, on an individual level, is looking superior to that of Vici right now. We are only in Game 1. Things can change, of course, but from here on, there's some issues that need to be addressed by Vici.
Yeah, and let's actually get to that. So Vici this game, they came in with the same playstyle that we expected out of them. Obviously, they have a little bit more of a different team composition for making that playstyle happen, but it seems like they're playing right into Snake's hands, and Snake are just completely dismantling it.
So one of the cool things about the drafting is exactly that, because the Rex side is there to answer the Shen, but Flandre is doing it better than Dandy is, and that's happening in every single lane.
Yeah, Snake with a quick shove down mid, actually take the tier 2, the inhibitor turret, and the inhibitor itself, as Dandy are just too, Vici are just too slow to the draw. They lose that inhibitor turret. They're running across the map to the Baron pit. That would be an incredibly bold play off of 2 kills to take 2 turrets, an inhibitor, and the Baron, but if any team could pull it off, I would not have faith that it would be any other team than Snake this time around, but seems like they're going to decide to let it go, just securing vision.
You have to be careful when placing ping boards around that Baron, because it's currently not spotting their ward, I don't think, that they know is in the pit. They've pinged it multiple times, but Vici well and truly aware of where the warding is going to be from Snake, and they didn't commit to the Baron. They just put down warding to be safe because they'd already got everything they can.
Wow, Yu does real damage to Mata. He gets out alive. Martin actually is going now to secure his red buff. You've already got Flandre split pushing on the bottom side. Looks like Snake are setting up to put some plays onto the top side of the map and start to continue to expand upon this. Yu once again finds Mata, drops him low, but cannot manage to get the kill. Jeez, that damage. Yu at 103, he's only about 20 CS ahead of Peng, but he does some serious work.
Yeah, Victor known for his capacity to assassinate anybody that he would like at any stage in this game. It's just one of the strengths that a Victor does provide, is that raw burst, mostly single target, but Snake, they're trying to make something happen on the knowledge that Mata's not available. They've started this Baron up. Yeah,
they look like they decide to back away. Not going to chase quite too far. Flandre was actually running up to the top side as well. Seems like they decided not to pull the trigger with this one. The Snake have got complete control of this game. They're up by 7,500 gold, well, about 7,200, but Vici, they have no momentum. We haven't seen Vici go for any picks. Anytime they go for any sort of team fights or ganks, it just seems to backfire in their face. What can Vici possibly do to turn this game around?
They still need to find the picks, and that's the problem, is when you are behind, you look to control set areas of vision, not the entirety of vision like Snake have been doing, and just work around that small concentrated area. Try and outplay the opponents as well and get a pick. Turn that pick into potentially an objective, or reset, get another pick. But at this stage, and something that we've touched on multiple times, is that their team comps are similar.
Ooh, almost find a pick, but Snake cannot find World 6.
Yeah, Snake looking to make a pick of their own in that case.
Yeah.
The superior vision control is something that I've noted. But you can see it every single time you look at that minimap. Flandre is teleporting behind them.
Oh, he is indeed. Let's see if he will be able to catch anyone out. Manages to land the taunt onto World 6. He flashes. Mata tries to keep him alive. There goes the knockup, but it's not enough. Martin picks up another kill. They continue to provide chase. There's no inhibitor turret. It goes down a double kill for Martin. He will not be stopped with this one. Turns on to Dandy. 3 hits brings him to half health. 4 brings him to a third. And it looks like you actually managed to kill Chuan on the far side. Snake are going to look to end this game. They don't have a super minion, but they don't need it as they do so much damage. And Snake look to get themselves into 3rd place, even using the chrono break for more health. It doesn't look like Vici are going to come back from this one.
Snake taking an opportunity. They get an inch and they take a mile from it. Flandre is a monster. The teleport in can taunt the Gragas, and they can still convincingly win a fight. The Vayne's damage output is just too high at that stage in the game that there is no direct answer from Vici, and it felt like from one mistake really early in the game that they anti-snowballed themselves to a defeat, because they made a mistake that got 3 kills onto Flandre on his Shen.
Yeah, amazing play from Snake this time around, and you can see Mata not looking too thrilled about that performance last game. I mean, he was